The Trump administration said today it's pulling out of a nuclear arms control treaty that dates back to the Cold War. David Martin tells us the U.S. has long accused the Russians of disregarding it.
When the Russians put it on display, it looks much like any other missile. But this is the weapon which threatens to unravel decades of nuclear arms control. It is a low-flying cruise missile, which U.S. intelligence says violates the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, INF for short. Today, the Trump administration announced that if Russia won't abide by the treaty, neither will the U.S.
We can't be put at the disadvantage of going by a treaty, limiting what we do when somebody else doesn't go by that treaty.
Signed by Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev in 1987, the INF Treaty is the only arms control agreement to eliminate an entire class of weapons. Ground-launched missiles with a range between 300 and 3,400 miles. At the time, the Soviet Union had nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles pointed at Europe, and the U.S. had its own intermediate-range missiles based in Europe, creating a nuclear standoff with much shorter warning times and, as a result, much greater potential for error. Those missiles have long since been dismantled, but Russia, under Vladimir Putin, in what the U.S. believes is an attempt to intimidate the NATO allies, has secretly fielded about 100 of these new missiles, despite what Secretary of State Pompeo said were repeated protests going back to the Obama administration.
We have raised Russia's noncompliance with Russian officials, including at the highest levels of government, more than 30 times. Yet Russia continues to deny that its missile system is noncompliant and violates the treaty.
The U.S. must now decide how to respond, which it could do by taking existing sea-launched cruise missiles and basing them on land. The only way to save the treaty now is for Russia to give up its new missile, which seems unlikely. That leaves the U.S. and Russia on the brink of a new arms race, only this time around it will also include China. Jeff?
All right, David Martin, thank you very much.